welcome to the Losers Bracket Final, spawning as the red allies on the left side. On the right side, excuse me, I normally introduce left to right, but on the right side, it's from teammates WalftheWolf. Can he defeat his teammate on the left side, the yellow allies? It's an AVA, that's right, best of 5, it's Vindies. And you gotta hand it to Kiro. He's the one in the top 4 who is not allies. He's, of course, Empire, and that is just great to see from him. So congrats to Kiro, but he was not able to hack it. He was not able to make it work, and unfortunately for him, he's out, which means we're left with these 2 allied players, and one of them will face Yui after this best of 5. So far, nothing too crazy. It is indeed going to be dual racks from Vindies, just the single racks for WalftheWolf. It means he'll be getting his refinery up a little bit more quickly. Of course, Vindies will be a little bit delayed on his second refinery. Just a bit, not a huge amount. Of course, that second barracks does make you a little bit more secure in kind of the mid to early game. I think both of those dogs actually killed each other. They did indeed. Actually, both got the kill on each other. Which, I don't know, that's going to be good value for Vindies, but I don't know, maybe WalftheWolf was a little bit upset about that. Hopefully not too much. Alright, Peacekeepers, saber rattling in the middle of the map. WalftheWolf is going to be pressing on forward. Can he get a good angle of engagement? As you can see, he's switching over very specific Peacekeepers to that shield mode. And it just changes the dynamic of the engagement so much when you end up doing that. Just a good move from WalftheWolf. However, we are going to be seeing Vindies move forward. Now, where does he deploy his MCV is kind of the question, because, of course, if you deploy it too far forward, okay, yeah, there's no way he's going back for that third refiner. He's charging on forward. There is really nothing else that he's going to be doing. He's trying to end it pretty fast coming right out of this. The engineer actually going to be heading around the north side of the map as well. He's got 2 dogs to clear the way, while in the middle of the map, the Peacekeepers are pressing forward. Can Vindies actually make it happen? Maybe, maybe not. He's going to be pressing forward. Oh my gosh, is he just doing what... He might actually just be doing what Yui just did to him. Except the difference being... that exact thing right there. Dog coming through the middle of the map. Hopefully Vindies does clear it up. Yes, he does. That dog can be so powerful for any allied player who manages to sneak it around into the reinforcement lineup of their opponent. And I mean, it is very easy to kill off because it's just one shot from a Peacekeeper. But it does allow you to cut off those reinforcements if they do not notice it. Riptide is indeed out for WalftheWolf, and now we're kind of seeing the same thing that we saw last game, where Vindies, he's going all in, and the other player, he's on 3 refinery, he's got better tech, of course, and the MCV isn't rolling around the map taking damage, which is going to be good for Vindies. Or not good for Vindies, good for WalftheWolf, because his MCV is going to be nice and safe. He can bring it in at another time. He's just producing lots of Riptides. Might actually... Nope, that's just a dog in the north. Not actually a Riptide going for the harass or the counterattack. Nothing like that. Peacekeepers coming in. WalftheWolf is trying to push forward, but Vindies holds the line. Can he actually break through? Now things are getting a bit dicey here. We've got the 2 MCVs, which means the pathing will be messed with quite severely. Vindies pulling back very specific Peacekeepers at very specific times. Good control by him. Going to be blocking Wolf's MCV with his own MCV, but these Riptides are here to wreak havoc upon the forces of Vindies. One Riptide does get blasted away by that MCV, and Vindies needs to pull back his MCV. He's a little bit too exposed. Now this dog over here, it hasn't really taken out too many reinforcements. Oh, he can clean up so many Javelin Troopers. That would be an absolute power-killing move for WalftheWolf. He was able to just clean up those Javelin Troopers and cut off those reinforcements, and an engineer as well. This dog is ripe for the picking. WalftheWolf needs to notice it. He needs to get those value kills at the same time. Oh, he gets the kill on that engineer, and he gets a Javelin Trooper as well. He's going to get a second Javelin Trooper. This is great for WalftheWolf. That's lots of money down the drain for Vindies. And Vindies, it looks like he wasn't actually able to do anything with that engineer he constructed earlier. Most likely got shut down pretty hard by a Riptide. Not sure exactly, but these Riptides are in good numbers, and with the Peacekeeper's damage output against this MCV, it's going to be good game for WalftheWolf. Can these Javelin Troopers do the damage for Vindies, because they are pretty much his last hope. His MCV is so close to going down, and WalftheWolf is at the economic advantage, so if he gets the crushes, he got one crush on a Riptide, which means these Javelin Troopers are slightly stronger, but there's so many Riptides here for WalftheWolf. It is just ridiculous. Goodbye, Riptide, or goodbye, Javelin Troopers. The Riptide's coming in. The GG comes down, and Vindies has been defeated. The handwriting on the wall was obvious. Vindies fighting it out to the bitter end, basically. And that will do it for game number 1. This best of 5 opens up in the favor of WalftheWolf, but this is not where it ends. Game number 2 is coming up. All right, guys, welcome to Cabana Republic. On the left side, the Red Allies player, it's WalftheWolf. He's from Team Mates. He's up 1-0 in this best of 5. On the right side, the Yellow Allies. Down 0-1, it's Mates Vindies. Cabana Republic is kind of a favorite map for Vindies. Traditionally considered more of an Empire map versus Allies, but this is AVA. Map choice comes down to purely what each player likes. If you don't like a map, such as Infinity Isle, and I don't know how Vindies feels about it particularly, I was under the impression that he liked it all right, but some players, if they're on a map they don't like in a mirror matchup, they will just go all in because they're like, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this map, I don't want to play it out long game. I wanted things to be over as quickly as they can, and I don't want to wait around. And then, if they lose, they get map choice. If they win, well, they're up 1-0, and it was on a map they don't like. However, Cabana Republic, it's a map that Vindies likes because he's allowed to do all sorts of unorthodox things that players don't expect. He's kind of been figured out a little bit more because people have been seeing more replays of him. He's streaming, of course, and those kind of unorthodox things are not as fresh and new as they once were. Naval opening into Riptides, not all of that crazy, not all that unorthodox. So I'm not sure if he's going to be doing anything besides that, like heavy naval play, but we shall see. Now, lots of Peacekeepers, a couple of Javelin Troopers mixed in for WalftheWolf, but yeah, it's mostly Peacekeepers, which means Riptides are going to be very important. If there's not many Javelin Troopers, then there's not much competition for the Riptides. So we'll see exactly how this goes for WalftheWolf, because of course he's got one oil derrick, no oil derricks for Vindies, but Vindies is going to be going for more of the power play. Those Riptides with Javelin Troopers can drop down buildings so quickly. There's the Engineer. The second Riptide pops out right there. He's going to load up one Peacekeeper, two Javelin Troopers, and the Engineer. He could leave the Peacekeeper here if he wants the extra bit of defense, but he doesn't necessarily know that this is coming. He definitely knows that it's coming now because that Javelin Trooper is about to laser lock and shoot up his MCV. There's the pack up of the MCV. You can, of course, pack up your MCV and it breaks the targeting that a unit was given. So the player will have to reissue the command to attack that building or structure because it has changed from a building to a unit, and then vice versa. When you unpack the MCV, it'll change from a unit to a building, and it'll once again break that attack command. Ooh, the Riptide does get spotted. I do believe that's the Javelin Trooper Riptide. The other Riptides are taking a little bit of damage, but one of them does have an Engineer, and Vindies needs to know which one. He's going for another turret push. More Riptides coming out for Vindies. He does have two refineries, but he's pulling a bit of a Zocker here, where you just turret push, or maybe a bit of a Yui since it's a tournament, and you just turret push until you win. So we shall see, because WalftheWolf has so many Peacekeepers moving out across the map, he doesn't really have too much damage output in terms of one Javelin Trooper, which can be shut down by this Riptide if it gets caught out in the open. Vindicators come in, they drop their bombs. It looks like they were able to clean up one of the... No, they weren't actually able to clean up one of the Riptides because all three Riptides are still there. There's the Engineer. He's going to be cutting off the income of WalftheWolf rather than securing fresh income of his own. Javelin Trooper is probably in the structure, which means it didn't actually get taken out. Now, Peacekeepers are here for the defense. WalftheWolf is not paying attention. Vindies is going to be getting free crushes with this MCV. He's going to have no problems with that. At the same time, WalftheWolf hasn't really been able to do too much damage. And on top of that, this is so many Javelin Troopers to focus down the MCV of WalftheWolf. He has to get out of dodge, man. He is going to be taking so much damage. These Javelin Troopers may have to load back up into Riptides, but there are just too many units here for the Vindicators to split. I mean, there's too many units for the Vindicators to bomb them all. Now, maybe with the crushes with this MCV, it's coming so close to actually crushing, but it's not quite getting the kills that it needs, and there's just so many Javelin Troopers. They can run around, they can be microed by Vindies. At the same time, one wall segment is down, which is the breakthrough that WalftheWolf needs. Goodbye, MCV, moments before the Vindicators actually show up to get the damage output. Goodbye, Vindicator number 1. Goodbye, Vindicator number 2. GG comes down. WalftheWolf has been defeated. Woo! And Vindies goes up 1-1 versus WalftheWolf with a little bit of an all-in. I'm not actually sure how that would have transitioned out for either player. It definitely would have been very weird, but game number 2 goes to Vindies, which means the next map is going to be WalftheWolf's choice, and we'll see exactly what he wants to do. All right, welcome to Fire Island. In the bottom left corner, the red allies, it's Mates WalftheWolf. Also from Team Mates in the top right, the northeast position, it is Vindies. Again, this series is tied up 1-1. That barracks placement is very conspicuous from Vindies. We should be seeing the naval yard at some point after the power plant. One Javelin. Oh my gosh, is Vindies just doing this again and again? He's just about going all in every game. He's doing this very heavy aggro stuff, sometimes accompanied by an MCV move, which, I mean, you can expand to like your opponent's third refinery location, but at the same time, if you don't expand there, it is definitely all in. And even if you do expand there, it puts you in such an awkward position where the game is pretty much forced to end within the first couple of minutes, or a couple of minutes after that, I should say, after you get that refinery location. Like, either you or your opponent is going to be dead. And man, with 7 Javelin Troopers, 8 now, is he going to go to a full 10, or is he going to pack? No, he's going to a full 10. Man, that's a lot of credits just dumped early game into those Javelin Troopers. With 3,000 credits invested just in Javelin Troopers, Vindies has to do damage. Now, of course, sniping refs is nice. That's guaranteed 2,000 damage, 2,000 credits of damage, that is, to help pay for these Javelin Troopers. Oh, no, he's going as all in as you can go. Check that out. That's one refinery. That is an MCV cell into the all in. There's 11 units here at least. So it's going to be a little bit awkward. Actually, no, he's going to have to go 3 Riptides full on. And oh my gosh, WalftheWolf, he has no idea that this is coming. This could be so powerful. WalftheWolf, he does get... Oh no, he sees no refinery. He knows something is up. There is no reason there should be no refinery in that location at this point. WalftheWolf, he's already on 3 refineries. He's dedicated so much money into just going for that eco. But with multi-gunner turrets, with Peacekeepers, he can hold this. The defense is going to have to be tight. He's going to have to defend multiple locations, and keeping this barracks is probably a good idea. He's going to need at least 2 multi-gunner turrets in 2 very key positions to be able to hold this, and even then, it's still going to be a bit rough. More and more Riptides going to be pouring out, and again, if Vindies doesn't win in, say, the next 3 or 4 minutes, WalftheWolf is basically just going to walk all over this map, and then it's match point for Vindies. Riptides are going to be able to clean up a number of these Peacekeepers, but with good shield micro, WalftheWolf can make those Peacekeepers last so much longer. Vindies needs to go for the high-value targets. He needs to end the game quickly, and he needs to guarantee himself a 2-1 point lead in this series. But is he going to be able to? This is so many Javelin Troopers, Peacekeepers getting picked off one by one. Dogs may be the only option, but can they get close enough without getting sniped off by the Riptides? For now, the answer is no, because the focus firing from Vindies, it's just too good. At this point, Vindies is just paying too much attention. He's focusing his attention there, and actually WalftheWolf going to be giving away a couple of these extra Riptide as well. Going to be garrisoning up with some of these Peacekeepers, adding extra insult to injury. It doesn't actually have anything inside of it. No, it doesn't look like it, but these refineries are going to be getting focused down so quickly. The harvesters are basically void at this point. There's no way that they're going to be walking away from this. Vindies would have to have a major choke up if he loses these Javelin Troopers. And one more refinery goes down. The Harvester as well gets eliminated. There is a Peacekeeper here, but it will be dealt with by the Riptides. And now it comes down to the placement and control of these multi-gunner turrets. Of course, the power plant is very important, and the Riptides can head out onto the water to deal with the power plant. But it's a massacre. It's a killing ground as all of these Peacekeepers clear the area with the help of that multi-gunner turret. And WalftheWolf stomps all over the army of Vindies. Wow, there goes the victory for WalftheWolf. It's not guaranteed, but it is close to guaranteed at this point. It's one refinery versus one refinery, but this airfield poses such a problem for Vindies to deal with. He cannot deal with this airfield easily. Oh, man. This game just suddenly going absolutely bonkers. Now, it is possible for Vindies to rebuild his MCV, try to stabilize, but that is just so much money he has to dump into that MCV that he's not producing any units for. It allows WalftheWolf in basically the same amount of time to get back up to 2, maybe even up to full 3 refineries that he was at before. And actually, he's already got the command hub deployed, so that Harvester didn't get cleaned up, and as a result, WalftheWolf is going to be able to deploy that extra refinery there. He won't have to move his MCV all the way over. And does he just restart? It looks like he does just restart that that refinery. He could even just go tier 2. Go tier 2, get the cryocopters, finish the game right here, right now, get the refinery after that tier 2, because you never just want to you never just want to be, okay, I'm ahead, so I'm going to stop trying to secure an even better victory, because you never want to be in a situation where something absolutely crazy happened, someone decides not to GG, and somehow they just go in and win the game, and you're like, well, if only I would have played properly instead of thinking I had the game in the bag, and ended up just giving away the advantage that I had. But as you can see, Vindies, bad idea suiciding in those jabbers, or sacrificing those javelin troopers, or jabbers as they are called sometimes. So I think Vindies is just at this point trying to get the butterflies out, trying to get his, his little flutters. Is he actually going for an MCV? I mean, it's building very slowly, but he also doesn't really have any money. So he is going for an MCV. Cryo shot fires off, and this is the last of the money. He doesn't have enough to finish up that MCV. It takes, 3 minutes 20 to build. And that's real time. That's not like StarCraft 2 Blizzard time that runs... Oh, like... What? 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 What even was that? That Harvester should be dead. How did it even survive? I don't understand, but somehow... Wow, somehow it survived. 3 refinery WalftheWolf, though. This is just crazy. Vindies actually doesn't know that WalftheWolf is doing great. He's like, I hope you have no money, but WalftheWolf, he's fine. GG comes down. Vindies is going to be dropping down 1-2 against the powerhouse WalftheWolf. Again, Vindies can take games off of WalftheWolf. He nearly did it there, but he's just going for more of the cheesy play. He's not confident, I think, in his late game versus Wolf. He doesn't want to go tier 3. He doesn't want to play Athena Cannon Wars or Cryocopter Wars, nothing like that. He wants to end the games quickly. And yeah, again, WalftheWolf, he's just having the better engagements. All right, welcome to game number 4. The map is going to be Temple Prime, and the player on the east side of Temple Prime, it's Mates Vindies. He is down 1-2 in this best of 5 series. The man on the left side up 2-1. It's Mates WalftheWolf. It's a team kill. Mates versus Mates. Power plant first. No barracks into airfield. It's fast cryos. Or actually, no, I take that back. It may not be fast cryos, because if a player opens engineer, you can get a Vindicator to kill their engineer before it actually gets to the oil derrick. It's just one of those kind of things on this map. But the dog does spot the airfield, or it gets, yeah, okay, it definitely spots it now. And that means he's going to send his engineer into the building immediately. He's going to know not to build another engineer, to get out javelin troopers, if anything, and to head towards that anti-air. He's got his first refinery up, and this could be just straight into cryocopters. There's the one refinery. No, he's walled in the second refinery. Normally, you don't even waste time and money on the walls if you just want to go one refinery cryocopters. Vindies wisely going to be walling up his airfield, which is important because You want to make sure that those peacekeepers don't just kill off that airfield. No problemo. Now, the dog is going to be sitting by that airfield, and of course, that means that the dog did not get the chance to block off those walls like he would have liked to. But, okay, so Vindies going to start clearing the map. He's up to 3 Vindicators. He hasn't gone tier 2. He went 2 refineries, so he still can go cryocopters. But things are developing a little bit more normally after the fast airfield from Vindies. Now, WalftheWolf is most likely going to be going into Apollos to help him lock down those Vindicators because, of course, 3 Apollo Vindicator can beat 3 Vindicator Apollo, depending on the angle. There's the first Apollo from WalftheWolf. He's keeping an eye on those units of Vindies, and Vindies probably is going to add on his own Apollo eventually. He has dropped down the second power plant before that, and he could be going tier 2 at this point. He is drafting something else from his MCV. There's the power plant for WalftheWolf. The airfield as well, and Javelin Troopers are out, which will give that kind of advantage that Vindies needs. He went dual racks into, he's going for the expand eventually. Of course, on Temple Prime, you can go for the expand inwards towards your opponent, and this just makes AVA on this map so awkward with how close the expansions are when you both expand towards your opponent. It's like you drop down the refinery and you're basically able to drop turrets at your opponent's refinery, or just about. So you can do that really quite easily. WalftheWolf does control the high ground and both of the oil derricks, which will give him that economic advantage, but it's not so much of an economic advantage that he's just going to be able to outstrip Vindies in terms of macro. With good control, good micro, and good engagements, or the MCV, Vindies is going to be able to make very bad engagements, or engagements that seem very bad. He's going to be able to make them go his way. But we haven't necessarily seen him have that absolute top-level control and get those winning engagements, because it's a combination of Wolf has to make a mistake. He has to make a pretty serious mistake, and then Vindies has to capitalize on it. So it's not just Vindies needs to control well, it's that Wolf needs to make the mistake and give Vindies the opportunity. MCV taking a bit of damage, and this is also going to be preventing that third refinery expansion from WalftheWolf. Now, WalftheWolf has a very, very damaged Apollo. He sold actually off his airfield. Not sure how I feel about that, but Vindies is just pushing into the base. So many Peacekeepers just getting pumped in. And, alright, so WalftheWolf starting to push, and he's going to be able to cut off the reinforcements for Vindies, which is, of course, very important in any game. And, of course, if Vindies just has that constant parade push, then that is going to be a very beneficial thing for him. Or Refinery getting targeted down. These Javelin Troopers are in such nice numbers to just be able to target down buildings one after another. MCB taking the long way for WalftheWolf. I don't know how I feel about this. Of course, his infantry will be at the gates of Vindies, but this is going to be a little bit dangerous here for Vindies, because he's going to have to make sure that he pulls well, and this is just so many Peacekeepers for WalftheWolf. Technically, there's this extra Peacekeeper in the back for Vindies, which could be in the engagement. The Concave, I think, is just too strong for WalftheWolf. He's going to be pressing on forward. These guys back here are absorbing a couple of extra shots, but the numbers game is just in favor of Wolf on the right side of the map. Vindies keeping all of his aircraft in the air, but this airfield needs to be sold off, and Vindies just needs to reestablish over here. It's going to be one of those weird base trade scenarios on the north side of the map. We do have the potential, what would be a third refinery, but now it's actually going to be a first or a one refinery from WalftheWolf. He does have constant income, though, from the oil derricks, which is an important thing to note. Again, those extra, basically 30 credits every 2 seconds from those oil derricks, those 2 oil derricks, is going to be so nice. And the Javelin Troopers, they're going to be able to laser lock these buildings really quite quickly. Peacekeepers will finish off the other power plant, no problemo there. But Vindies, he's reestablished himself. He's, WalftheWolf, he's doing the same thing, though. And actually, WalftheWolf splits up, which is great for this infantry-based composition that Vindies has. But if Vindies goes tier 2, gets cryocopters, it's going to be very difficult for WalftheWolf to defend those 2 corners of the map at the same time. As you can see, the Vindicators are taking a bit of damage because they have nowhere to land, at least for now. I'm assuming this is this is an airfield coming out for Vindies. It should be an airfield. And actually, if Vindies sends this prospector to the corner, he's going to realize that WalftheWolf already had the same idea. There's the cryoblast coming in. There's not going to be anything to freeze down, though, because that prospector was pulled off the line. And if this airfield doesn't come down soon, it's going to be very bad for WalftheWolf. Or for Vindies, because WalftheWolf is going to be able to basically force the elimination. Oh no, this engineer almost gets taken out there, and there is going to be the airfield. There is going to be the landing of those Vindicators. And this MCV getting pulled off the line, the prospector as well. Vindies deploys that command hub. Can he actually do anything? No, the seaport is there to make sure that nothing too crazy happens. Vindies also expanding to the bottom right corner of the map, which is a little bit unfortunate for him that he's getting split everywhere and that one of the places he chose to get split has already been taken by WalftheWolf. But that is what he has to do. He chose to do this all-in base pushy sort of strategy, and he didn't want to play the long game versus WalftheWolf, so this is what he is stuck to. Very weird sort of base trade scenario. He is going to be able to pick off a couple of these peacekeepers, which fall right through the geometry of the hill. And he's still got the 3 Vindicators, which is wonderful amount of damage output for him. But it's not necessarily game-winning, especially versus an opponent who's been on better eco for the majority of this game. I'm not sure about now. I mean, now it actually is going to be slightly better for WalftheWolf. Now, actually, he's got this refinery up here. I forgot about this refinery. He's got, of course, much better eco, double the income, actually, of Vindies. Had double plus a little bit because of the oil derrick, but that's been recapped by Vindies. I guess Vindies can expand down here, but really Vindies, he needs to make sure that he's not losing too many of his units, like Vindicators, 2 stray Apollos, and it's going to be hard for Vindies to actually crack this base. There's already a hydrofoil out here. There's already several Riptides, and of course the Apollos also being added on will just make it even harder for Vindies to break the naval base of WalftheWolf. But if he can, this is going to be a crazy, crazy game. One of those Javelin Troopers, fully heroic. WalftheWolf has moved his MCV back onto the actual ground. He's done with the naval shenanigans. He's going to be moving himself back into the middle of the map. And can he... Man, this is just so crazy, this game. Vindies is kind of being a Yui in this sense of he's forcing very weird games constantly, and these AVAs are just things that we don't normally see. This is not a normal AVA. This base push sort of stuff just does not happen very often. There's the sell-off of both of the barracks, and WalftheWolf, he's in such a strong position. I can't imagine a player like him throwing the game so hard that he actually loses this. Again, technically, it's still possible, but WalftheWolf has just been playing too well for that to actually happen. And Vindies, I don't even know what he can do. Let's take a quick look at his actual income. I'm curious as to what it's sitting at. Vindies sitting around 2K. WalftheWolf is most likely going to be getting another refinery. Yeah, he's going to be on 3 refineries, which is just going to be fantastic for him. He's cleaned up all of the wall segments to make sure that Vindies has no vision. He's got a little bit of vision there, a little bit of vision there. But he's most likely going to be cleaning those up, and it may actually be... No, it's just an Apollo right now. Oh, Apollo going to be catching out a couple of these Vindicators. Which is, I mean, they do turn around in time, which is good for Vindies. Vindies just needs to hold on. Honestly, he needs to just secure himself and stabilize for 5 minutes. He needs to take perfect engagements and just wait out the storm. But it's going to be very rough for Vindies to actually come out ahead in this series. I can't imagine that it's going to be an easy feat. I can't imagine it's actually going to be something that he can do versus a player like WalftheWolf, but he's starting to fight back. He's got these little moves, hydrofoils of his own. He's going to be heading around the map with a hydrofoil and a dolphin combo. You can get a surprising amount done versus your opponent, especially depending on how the weapon jammer factors into things. Because hydrofoils, they can take opponents' units out of the battle, and that is something that is very powerful. A bit like a cryocopter in that respect, but it doesn't make it a one kill for whatever unit that attacks it. Or a one-hit kill, I should say. And yeah, this game has just turned so weird. There's the Dolphin coming out for Vindies. Javelin Troopers getting picked off in the middle of the map. WalftheWolf just pushing his economy ahead further and further. Going to be on that 3 refinery, not for too much longer, as the Dolphins from Vindies going to be sacrificing, Wolf is going to be sacrificing the expansion in the north there to those Dolphins. They just completely clean that up. At the same time, WalftheWolf, he's returning the favor. He's like, you want to do this to me? Well, I'm going to do it to you. And... There's Vindicators and lots of infantry for Vindies, which means he can be efficient, but WalftheWolf, I feel like, has just played this out a bit too well, a bit too methodically. And he's not been making big mistakes. Vindies is able to pick off one Riptide there, but even so, he can't deal with a massive infantry army behind it. Potentially, if WalftheWolf walks into a multi-gunner turret, Vindies can drop a multi-gunner turret, throw a Peacekeeper into it, and then he can have an infantry-killing machine, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to stop WalftheWolf. Because WalftheWolf behind this, okay, Dolphins on the top side of the map. It's a Dolphin versus Dolphin war, not something that we actually see. And Hydrofoil not actually going to be coming into the battle, which means that Weapon Jammer won't actually be doing anything. The Dolphin for WalftheWolf is going to be getting absolutely slaughtered there. And Vindies, his MCV on the front line again. It's going to take a mistake from WalftheWolf. It's going to take a big mistake from WalftheWolf. There's the jump of the Dolphin to survive a little bit longer. He will be able to get a couple of extra shots off, which will be good for WalftheWolf, but Vindies is going to be crushing through in the north. Can WalftheWolf actually stop him? He's, of course, got the advantage of production, and these last 2 Dolphins won't last too much longer versus the Dolphin of WalftheWolf. It's now Veteran. Got a nice little rank up to match that of Vindies. Now Elite for WalftheWolf, and there goes the MCV of Vindies. The heroic status is just being passed out like candy at Halloween, and Vindies is going to just be getting smashed. He does have Javelin Troopers that remain, but there's too many Peacekeepers for WalftheWolf, and the Shield Micro is not going to be enough to save Vindies in this game. Cryo Blast going to be firing off, allowing WalftheWolf to just kill off this airbase. Absolutely no problem. There's the freeze down. The bombing is not good enough. It's not fast enough from Vindies to eliminate those Peacekeepers. And WalftheWolf, he's going to smash on through. He's reestablished himself in his main base. He's at those 3 refineries. He's still got this harvester over here. Was able to rebuild that after the Dolphins came in. An engineer goes down for Vindies. And it's all over but the crying. Command hub never got that refinery built. Even the second command hub that you see there never got a refinery. And I think I'm going to have to shut down the stream after this game, restart it, because this lag is something that I've experienced before. These weird hiccups. I'll take a quick conference after this. Oh my gosh, Vindies. There's no way he can do this, right? He's got no place to land. I think he's just scoping out exactly what Wolf has. Wolf is moving his MCV as well. And Vindies, oh my gosh, this is so bad for Vindies, but he's got a barracks. He's got 2 racks and 2 refineries. He's got an oil derrick as well, which again, there's like the technical possibility that WalftheWolf just meat grinders all of his units and loses everything to engineers, but the chances of WalftheWolf losing this are just so slim at this point. It's absolutely insane. So we'll see. I mean, exactly what is going to happen here. WalftheWolf should just stomp all over. I'm curious as to why Vindies hasn't just GG'd out of this game, but it's possible he doesn't really realize how bad of a situation he is actually in. It is entirely possible, but I'm not seeing it for Vindies. I'm not seeing it at all. WalftheWolf will just continue to macro up the most ridiculous army you have ever seen, so far consisting of basically only infantry. And he drops down a 4th refinery just to... Wow, he is playing this so safe. I mean, he could have gone tier 2 at a number of points. He could have gone cryocopters. He could have finished this up a couple of minutes ago with some different unit combinations, but he's just going brute force. 4 refinery, dual racks production, pushing in from multiple sides. He can basically A-move, and eventually he will win. Vindies just cannot match that of WalftheWolf. WalftheWolf could actually drop down more barracks right onto the front line, just constantly produce stuff, and... But again, I mean, there's a bit more finesse if he wants to. I mean, he could go cryocopters, he could go tier 2 on his MCV. Drop down an airfield near to him so he can actually build the cryocopters. Hydrofoil in the corner isn't going to be a big part of this engagement. It's unfortunately not able to run up onto the land. There's the barracks on the front line. He just needs to produce constant peacekeepers, and he can take this game. And there's the Cryogeddon going to be firing up, locking down so many of these units. The massacre is real, folks, as WalftheWolf smashes through the last remaining defenses of Vindies, almost walks into his own Cryoblast, or Cryogeddon. Walks into it a little bit there, but he just crushes through. Vindies, it's been lights out for a while now. With no MCV, he can't even counter with his own OP 1-clicks, so... There's the GG, well played. Vindies says good luck in the finals, and WalftheWolf will be meeting Yui in the grand finals of the Red 3 charity tournament. And there it is, the game over screen. Vindies is out of this tournament, but he secures himself the 3rd place option.